Cross-cultural learning and studying abroad can be transformative. Work is transformative. It gives you a greater chance of a greater income. You can affect your life while you're of working age, so you have scope and opportunity. Pensioners do not. Aereo is the first potentially transformative technology that has the chance to give people access to broadcast television delivered over the internet to any device, large or small, they desire. No wires, no new boxes or remotes, portable everywhere. There's an internet connection in the world, truly a revolutionary product. Hatred is a transformative power. It can make the innocuous into the menacing. My friends on Twitter didn't abandon their beliefs or their principles, only their scorn. They channeled their infinitely justifiable offense and came to me with pointed questions tempered with kindness and humor. They approached me as a human being, and that was more transformative than 2 full decades of outrage, disdain, and violence. The computers people have are no longer on their desks but in their hands, and that is probably the transformative feature of the technology. These computers are with you, in the world. If a brand wants to build social communities, capital and influence, it must become the chief celebrant of its community, not its celebrity. This simple shift in approach unlocks enormous transformative potential for brands. I think clothing is transformative. When you put something really beautiful on, you feel something. In so many ways, we're always playing a form of dress-up. It's just a grown-up, much chicer version of it. It's nice to be able to be whoever you want to be. Barack Obama hopes his famous healthcare victory will mark him as a transformative president. History, however, may judge it to have been his missed opportunity to be one. Students teach all sorts of things, but most importantly they make explicit the courage that it takes to be a learner. The courage it takes to open yourself to the transformative power of real learning, and that courage I am exposed to almost every day at MIT and that I'm deeply grateful for. The key thing is, even if you only have a couple of hours a month, those 2 hours shoulder to shoulder, next to one student, concentrated attention, shining this beam of light on their work, on their thoughts and their self-expression, is going to be absolutely transformative, because so many of the students have not had that ever before. The radio was an improvement on the telegraph, but it didn't have the same exponential, transformative effect. Like 90% of Ivy League professors, Hollywood celebrities, and late-night TV hosts, the media are also all in for Obama's transformative change and social justice. They've never met a race card slander they didn't like. I was not a very popular kid in high school, and I had this idea that the way that I dressed would change how liked I was. It was that kind of Pygmalion story. I think, ultimately that's probably why I became interested in fashion, its transformative power, and how it can change your identity. I want completing the single market to be our driving mission. I want us to be at the forefront of transformative trade deals with the US, Japan and India as part of the drive towards global free trade. And I want us to be pushing to exempt Europe's smallest entrepreneurial companies from more EU directives. Ultimately, I do want us to be a transformative government. I want, when we've left, for people to say we're not just clean green anymore, we're carbon neutral, or we're striving to be. There is something about the ability to externalize our thoughts and compare them with other people in a public way that is really transformative for the average person. The idea of songwriting is a transformative thing, and what I do with songwriting is take situations that are quite ordinary and transform them in some way. Apart from things like the murder ballads, the songs I write, at their core, are quite ordinary human concerns, but the process of writing about them transforms them into something else. Writing is literally transformative. When we read, we are changed. When we write, we are changed. It's neurological. To me, this is a kind of magic. It's been a transformative period, and I really wanted to make music from what I've experienced. Forgiveness, in some cases, is a flipping miracle in the sense that you're fighting, and suddenly something happens. It's a kind of grace. Whether you believe in God or not, something happens, and it's transformative. The power of pop culture stories should not be underestimated, and there is an enormous potential for inspirational stories that can have a positive, transformative effect on our lives. For better and for worse, I feel like sorrow and grief are really transformative personal experiences for me, and I question what I would be had I decided to take a different path and not embrace that kind of pain. Gender equality has a transformative effect that is essential to fully functioning communities, societies, and economies. Mrs. Palin is history in a dress. And her script is straight out of Hollywood, like those teen movies with the cliched ending featuring the female valedictorian delivering the speech of a lifetime projecting a bold and transformative future with an independent-minded woman in charge. Dance has a transformative effect on bodily trauma. I do recall one moment when I went to India by myself. I was paralyzed with fear to travel alone, but I had this intuitive hint that I had to do it. It was transformative and beautiful. Bitcoin is amazingly transformative because it's the first time in the entire history of the world in which anybody can now send or receive any amount of money, with anyone else, anywhere on the planet, without having to ask permission from any bank or government. When people talk about the impact of mobile dating, everyone focuses on real-time meeting, this idea that my pocket will vibrate every time a hot girl walks by. That's important, but it's not transformative. A relationship succeeds when obstacles are met with communication and resolution. A relationship flourishes when we take the beloved as our teacher. Shared goals create a transformative, interwoven path. Every time you create something new, there should be questions. And to me, that's a sign that you've actually done something that is transformative. I assume the body language, and no matter what in doing voiceover, there is a transformative aspect. I play Knit in Sony's letting go repeatedly, non-stop. I find it transformative. I'm so glad iPods were invented so I didn't have to drive everyone around me mad with the repetition. If abstract expression reached for the sublime, pop turned ordinary imagery into icons. Roy Lichtenstein and Andy Warhol illuminated the transformative power of context and the process of reproduction. Claes Oldenburg's soft ice cream cones and hamburgers changed sculpture from hard to soft, from stasis to transformation. The web is fascinating and transformative, but it's an easy, flashy, get-rich-quick option to the hard graft of proper industry. The history of Europe over the last several centuries provides clear evidence of the transformative power of commerce. I love natural beauty, and I think it's your best look, but I think makeup as an artist is so transformative. Art is transformative. It's not 2 is equal to 4. It works like the sea. It changes geography through its constant and relentless movement, just the way plants and water shape the world. Remember all of the Me Too social networks built just to have a social feature Facebook and MySpace didn't have? I built one for political discussion called Assembly. It enabled unique and potentially transformative social interactions, but only 20,000 people ever used it. What we're putting forward is the most radical reform of the welfare state, for 60 years. I think it will have a transformative effect in making sure that everyone is better off in work and better off working rather than on benefits. Blockchain is moving beyond cryptocurrency, and it's worth paying attention, especially since successful prototypes show that blockchain, also known as distributed ledger technology, will be transformative. Well, I believe life is a Zen koan, that is, an unsolvable riddle. But the contemplation of that riddle, even though it cannot be solved, is, in itself, transformative. And if the contemplation is of high enough quality, you can merge with the divine. Imagination is not only the uniquely human capacity to envision that which is not, and therefore the fount of all invention and innovation. In its arguably most transformative and revelatory capacity, it is the power to that enables us to empathize with humans whose experiences we have never shared. A show can be artistically successful, a show can be financially successful, a show can be successful by the transformative experience the audience is having. A show can be successful from the point of view of what is experienced by the cast and the company on a daily basis. My time at Pop has been a transformative experience that I am extremely proud of. It has afforded me the chance to collaborate with some of the greatest creative minds in the world, and I'm thankful to Ashley Heath and Bauer Media for the opportunity. For those who are able to work, work has to be seen as the best route out of poverty. For work is not just about more money. It is transformative. It's about taking responsibility for yourself and your family. I explain at the parties that I believe knitting is a transformative and intriguing act that can change the life and brain of the person doing it, and that knitting is a perfect metaphor for life and insight into some better ways through it. The crises of our time, it becomes increasingly clear, are the necessary impetus for the revolution now underway. And once we understand nature's transformative powers, we see that it is our powerful ally, not a force to feared or subdued. The most potentially transformative impact of social media is its ability to encourage brands to marry profit and purpose. The reason brands participate is that such outreach earns those companies social currency, enabling them to start or participate in conversations that connect them to consumers in meaningful ways. The effort to create a work of art that is true and potentially lasting. That is the very best work of art you can create at that point in your life, a book that may only reach or move a few people but will seem to those people somehow transformative. That's the ideal, that's always the motivation. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.